Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my colleague, Forbes staff writer, Will Yakowicz. Will, thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me, Brittany. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you cover vices for Forbes and compiled a list of some of the movers and shakers in the cannabis industry for 2023. But first, set the scene for us. Walk us over the past 2 years. What has been happening in the cannabis industry? From your reporting, it sounds like, it's been a bit of a bumpy ride.
Yeah, it has been a bumpy ride. So 2 years ago, it really did seem like federal legalization was on the horizon. It really felt any day, maybe in 2020, maybe 2021, and then by the end of 2022, the industry realized that was not going to happen, that it wasn't going to happen as quickly as they had hoped and that they had imagined. But so 2 years ago, a couple of things happened. There were a couple bills filed in, some in the House, some in the Senate. And the most promising one was the majority leader, Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, filed a bill to legalize cannabis. It would end the federal prohibition and take it off Schedule 1, which is the designation it's under now. And they didn't bring it to a vote. And then there was another bill that would have eased some banking concerns called the Safe Banking Act, and that wasn't voted upon. So at the end of this year, what we saw was cannabis stocks, the prices cratered, some as much as 70% or more. And then there were other economic pressures, like being that it's still illegal. Taxes are punitive because the federal government taxes the industry as it is designated, which is a federally illegal drug. So they tax them as drug traffickers. And not to get too wonky here, but 280E is the tax code, and it's a killer for the industry. It can really wipe out any profits that a company may have. So where we are this year is like the hype is much more muted. We saw the first drop in the number of jobs in the industry since the legal industry has been recorded. So that was a big deal. And now it's kind of, what we're seeing, the landscape is companies that have had tight balance sheets and that have not been spending too much or taking on too much debt are doing well. The demand is still high. And now we're just dropped down to normal levels. But so any company that's out there that's really focused on their balance sheet is doing well.
Will, I'm really interested to hear how these companies are adapting. From what you're describing, it sounds like they're in a bit of a holding pattern. They've been in a bit of limbo since 2020, and you called what's coming an inevitable green rush. So what are these companies and these leaders that are on your list doing?
So the companies that are strong and are in good shape, it's business as usual, because what you do have to understand is most of the people in the industry aren't, Johnny come latelys. They've been in it, what the industry refers to as legacy entrepreneurs. It's people who were working in the illicit market before there were any kind of state licenses, any kind of state level regulation. So the companies are just like, look, we've done this before. We've gone through periods of, like winter, so to speak, where times are lean and things are uncertain. So these companies are just trying to, keep innovating, keep product on the shelves and go forward. And eventually, when federal legalization does come, take advantage of it.
Let's dive a little deeper into those innovations. You compiled a list of the 42 entrepreneurs and leaders in the cannabis industry. Tell us a little bit about the list.
So this year is the second time we've done this list. It's an annual tradition at this point. But yeah, me and Isabel Lord, my colleague, and then my editor, Michael Solomon, for the last few months, we've been getting nominations. We've been doing our own research, collecting names, and then going through, financial documents, interviewing these people and talking to investors, and then going through this big list. We have a huge number of people, like over 100 names, and then we whittle it down to 42, which is obviously hard and heartbreaking. But no, then the end product is a really tight list of people who are doing great things in the industry. So the entrepreneurs highlighted on our list are from all parts of the industry. When concerning flower and farmers, One of the highlights is Ridgeline Farms. It's founded by a man named Jason Gilman. He's a longtime cultivator. He grew up growing cannabis in Humboldt County, California, running from helicopters. Then he got licensed, and now he grows some of the most sought after strains in the industry. And, it's craft, it's sun grown, it's small batch. And Jason just inked an exciting deal with Cookies, and he'll be selling his proprietary strain through their dispensaries this year. Then on the software side, it runs the gamut. We have a company called FlowHub. They sell software to run a dispensary's POS and compliance systems. We have companies like Jane, which allow customers to order cannabis online for either pickup or delivery. And then we have other companies like Imperial, which is a logistics company. Speaking to the hardships some dispensaries and cannabis companies have, there are about 800 banks across the U.S. that serve cannabis companies. Like pretty much every company in the industry has a bank account. However, there are certain things that are difficult. And, most dispensaries, you have to deal with cash. You have to accept cash because you can't use credit cards. And there are some solutions for debit cards, but the majority of sales are in cash. This means these dispensaries, many of them are mom and pop shops, have huge amounts of cash to deal with. So what Imperial does is they help companies get bank accounts and manage those relationships, but they also transport physical cash from a business to usually the Federal Reserve.